Welcome to episode 60 of the Reality Podcast. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and turn on those bells for all notifications. So I wake up this morning. It is indeed Monday. It is Monday, September 23rd, 2019, the first day of fall. So I wake up this morning and I find out that tonight on Raw, from the brand new Chase Center in San Francisco, California, the brand new building of the Golden State Warriors, that we're getting a fatal five-way tonight to determine the number one contender for Seth Rollins and the Universal Championship next week on Raw on September 30th, 6 days before Hell in a Cell. Are you fucking kidding me, bro? Are you fucking serious? Now, I have the confirmed matches and segments from tonight's Raw. I'm going to kick off the podcast here with this Raw show for tonight. Warriors Entertainment heads to the Chase Center in San Francisco, California for tonight's episode of Raw. Below are the confirmed matches and segments for the show. Get this. We got Rey Mysterio versus Ricochet versus AJ Styles versus Nakamura versus Robert Roode. Winner will move on to face Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship next week. Let's tackle this real quick. Rey Mysterio, he's not built up enough. Ricochet, so you put him in a baby daddy situation last week, only for him this week, tonight, and especially tonight, to put him in a Universal Championship match, no more contenders match for next week? Huh? Hello? AJ Styles, he's the U.S. champion. Why is he in this matchup? Nakamura, he's a fucking SmackDown superstar. Why is he in this matchup? As a matter of fact, why is he in this show? Why is Nakamura on this show? You have both mid-card titles in the same match. Stupid. Fucking stupid. And on top of that, you got Robert Roode, one half of the Raw Tag Team Champions. Why is he in this matchup? Clearly, AJ's not winning. Clearly, it's day 100% Nakamura's not winning this match. And Robert Roode, why does he have to win this match? Why is he in this matchup? There's no way he's winning this matchup, although he did pin Rollins at fucking Clash of Champions to win the Raw Tag Team title. So I see why he's in this matchup. Rey Mysterio, he's not built up enough. The only notable name here that should be contending at least for a Universal Championship is Ricochet. So I got Ricochet winning this matchup and facing Rollins next week. But that means you're going to kill Ricochet next week on Raw. Because there's no way you're going to have Ricochet beat Rollins for the title, only for him to drop it to Wyatt the following Sunday. Can I ask, why are they booking a Universal Championship match with just 6 days before Hell in a Cell? It's fucking stupid. Yet people are going to sit there and say, oh, Raw was a good show. Oh, this was a great idea by Vince McMahon himself. Fucking stupid, bro. Now, I'm going to follow up that story with this one. Why is WWE booked the Universal title match for next week? Get this. Seth Rollins is defending the Universal title next week against the winner of tonight's number one contender fatal five-way match on Raw. This is a very interesting decision because he's already scheduled to defend the title against Bray Wyatt at Hell in a Cell. And on top of that, you're risking injury from Rollins 6 days before Hell in a Cell. You're already risking injury. You are already risking injury. They've not explained the company's decision for this booking decision during Wrestling Observer Radio. Warriors Entertainment is placing a ton of focus on SmackDown and NXT next week. Therefore, they don't want Raw to get lost in the shuffle. There goes your answer. This is what Dave Meltzer said on the Wrestling Observer Radio, and I quote, all of the emphasis is going to fall on SmackDown and NXT because NXT is going to have a loaded show on October 2nd because they have to. We know that. So I guess they want to make sure that Raw doesn't fall too far, right? End quote. It will be very interesting to see how the company books next week's Universal title match, while it could just be an opportunity for The Fiend to show up and destroy everyone involved. You really never know what the company will try to pull off. This is especially true with Paul Heyman and his executive director role backstage. So I guess they're booking this matchup next week so Raw doesn't get lost in the shuffle next week, because next week is the debut episode of AEW Dynamite on Wednesday night on TNT. So obviously they're booking this match for Raw for next week. So now I wonder why. AEW effect, folks. Why are they booking Rollins to defend the Universal Championship match next week? AEW. Because it falls in the same week as the debut show on TNT next week. SmackDown's going to probably have a loaded show next week. Who's going to appear next week on SmackDown Live? I don't know. But I did make a prediction on episode 59 of the reality podcast back on Friday that Tommaso Ciampa will make his return to NXT next week. You want to have this show be that much loaded? You put Tommaso Ciampa on that show next week. But Rollins defending his title just 6 days before Hell in a Cell? It's a stupid move. It's a stupid move. Why have Rollins defend the title where you can call up somebody and make an appearance on the show? Oh, I don't know. Maybe another Stone Cold Steve Austin appearance. Maybe another Undertaker appearance. Maybe The Rock. You can have The Rock appear on Monday Night Raw and have it boost ratings. The Rock is a big notable name. Or why not put Brock Lesnar to come to Raw and I don't know, cut a promo on Kofi Kingston before their match on October 4th on SmackDown on Fox? I don't know, but why have Rollins defend the title at Raw next week only for him to drop it to Wyatt at Hell in a Cell? It's already predictable for next week's match. No matter who comes out of this fucking Fatal 5-Way. No matter who comes out of this fucking Fatal 5-Way, you're going to lose to Seth Rollins. So I ask, why are you booking a number one contendership match for next week when you know you're going to lose to Rollins because Rollins is going to drop the title to Bray Wyatt at Hell in a Cell? This company's fucking clueless, bro. This company right now is at fucking desperation mode. Yeah, people are going to sit there and say on Twitter with the fucking keyboard warrior hands and say, oh, Raw was a good show. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm going to go over the other segments if you even care about fucking Monday Night Raw tonight. The other matches and segments are, what's in store on a new Firefly Funhouse? Will we see a new episode of the Firefly Funhouse tonight on Raw? Can the Boss combat Nikki Cross's chaos? I don't know. Chad Gable to square off with Baron Corbin in a King of the Ring final rematch. Now, I love how the fact that they're using Chad Gable. I hope that now, after what happened last week, after that classic match last week, at the King of the Ring final, I hope they use Chad Gable at this point. I hope they use Chad Gable because you're not going to sit there and have Chad Gable get wasted on the main roster when he's one of the most underrated talent on the entire main roster. Can you imagine him in AEW? Seriously, he will get over in AEW immediately. Immediately. I wanted to kick off the podcast with those two pieces of information because, seriously, why would you book a Fatal 5-Way for a number one contender spot for next week? And I'm also hearing that Arnold was telling me that Alicia Fox is going to be SmackDown Live. She's going to be part of the creative team on SmackDown Live. Ross Sapp even told Arnold that's not even true. That's not happening. So Arnold, if you're watching, I wonder where you got that piece of information from because according to Ross Sapp, he did tweet at you on Twitter last night. It's not true. Why would a drunken piece of crap person like Alicia Fox be on a SmackDown Live creative team? At this point, I would just release her. If I'm Vince or I'm Triple H, release her. She brings no value in this fucking company. She brings no fucking value. Alicia Fox being part of SmackDown Creative is like the fucking New York Mets making the fucking postseason. Stupid. Retarded. Not happening. Impossible. Alicia Fox is garbage. Especially when a fucking drunk rants and shit for the company. You're embarrassing the company with you being drunk and stuff. Especially you being drunk to work. You're performing while you're drunk. I would just release her, low key. That's what I would do. So Storms, if you're watching, there goes my rant right there. I hope you enjoy the rant. Hope you enjoy the rant. Oh boy. Tonight's Monday Night Raw. I don't expect anything else to happen on this show tonight. I mean, I'm going to say this right now. Expect Ricochet to win this Fatal 5-Way because I don't see Ray winning. I don't see AJ winning. I definitely don't see Nakamura winning or Robert Roode winning. I don't see it happen. I don't really see it happen. Unless if they do go with Robert Roode because the fact that he pinned Seth Rollins at Clash of Champions to win the Raw Tag Team titles. They'll probably go with Robert Roode here. They'll probably go with Robert Roode. But at the same time, with AEW debuting next week, you got to have Ricochet versus Seth Rollins. At this point, you just have to. So expect Ricochet to win the Fatal 5-Way match tonight and have him face Rollins next week for the Universal Championship. Next week. Why? Because AEW effect, folks. It's all on the AEW effect, folks. Get used to it. From this point forward, get used to it. Yeah, people want to tell me, oh, it's not a war. There's some sort of a war. Yeah. To me, at least, it's some sort of a war. Because I have news on Kenny Omega blasting NXT. Kenny Omega says, and I quote, they're developmental while AEW has real stars. We'll go over that right here amongst all the other news that I have right here on episode number 60 of the Reality Podcast. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm your boy Chris. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel on this Monday, September 23rd, 2018 is the first day of fall, folks. Summer is gone. Come with the fall. Hoodie season has upon us, folks, and I can't wait. I can't wait. If you guys are excited for AEW next week, if you guys are loving NXT so far on the USA Network, smash that like button as hard as you possibly can. And if you guys are enjoying the podcast as well, hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment down below what you guys are thinking so far of the podcast, AEW, NXT on the USA Network. Sound off in the comment section. Also, leave a comment down below. What is your favorite football team? I'm a Patriot fan. Sam Rex is a Patriot fan. Little Tim is a Panthers fan. God rest his soul. If you're a Giant fan at this point, God rest your soul. God bless you. If you're a Jet fan as well, God bless you. Because the Patriots, they just destroyed the fucking Jets yesterday. My God. Sweet mother of pearl. Good God. Your Jets are fucking garbage. My God. Sweet mother of God. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to show your support by hitting that subscribe button down below and turn on the bells, guys, for notifications. As we are on the road to 200 subs right here on the channel. Episode 59 of the Reality Podcast, live on the channel right now from Friday's episode. I apologize for not giving you guys Saturday because I just didn't want to record anything. I really wasn't in the mood to record, but episode 59 of the podcast is live on the channel right now. We go over the news on why the company booked Kofi versus Brock on SmackDown Fox debut. Link to this video will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper right hand corner of your screen. Check out NXT review from this past Wednesday. Adam Cole's prophecy is officially complete, and that is undisputed. It was a great episode of NXT this past Wednesday. Link to NXT review will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper right hand corner of your screen, as Undisputed Era is carrying all the gold. They're dripped in gold in NXT. SmackDown Live review, live on the channel right now. Brock Lesnar versus Kofi Kingston WWE title match is set for Fox. People told me that SmackDown Live was pretty decent, and you see Brock Lesnar with his heavy beard. My God, does he look like a fucking beast. My God. SmackDown review will be in the annotation above that you see in the upper hand corner of your screen. Check out Monday Night Raw review. People are saying that Raw was a good show. people, if you thought that Raw was a good show, please just invoke your fucking wrestling card as soon as possible. This show is fucking garbage. The only good part of this show was the King of the Ring final and Bray Wyatt and the Fiend attacking Kane. Link to Raw review will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper hand corner of your screen. Also, check out Clash of Champions review from this past Sunday. It was a pretty decent show, not bad of a show. Link to Clash of Champions review will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper hand corner of your screen. This is the official home of the Reality Podcast, so make sure you're following your boy Chris on social media. Twitter, Chris from Rolling and Snapchat, Chris Most Hated. And like I said, folks, if you guys are enjoying the content, be sure to show your support by hitting that subscribe button down below and turn on those bells, guys, for all notifications. Let's begin episode number 60 of the Reality Podcast right here for your Monday, September 23rd, 2019. We're going to begin the podcast here with Kenny Omega. You guys see the thumbnail? You guys obviously see it. Kenny Omega shoots on NXT. Kenny Omega unloads on NXT. Kenny Omega says they are developmental while AEW has real stars. Really? Let's see what Kenny Omega has to say here. NXT's debut on the USA Network was met with such praise so far, but Kenny Omega would probably say that we haven't seen anything yet. AEW is bringing their television show to Wednesday nights on TNT, and it will be Dynamite. AEW Dynamite will be on Wednesday night. That's the official name right there. Omega considers NXT's roster his friends, but he doesn't see them as competition. Really, Mr. Omega? Really now? I'm assuming that you did watch NXT on Wednesday and you thought it was a good show, but NXT not being competition? You see that NXT roster? Can you imagine when Tommaso Ciampa comes back? That's going to make NXT a whole lot better with Tommaso Ciampa's comeback. AEW is bringing a television show. Oh, no, I already said that already. Dropkick discussions recently spoke to Kenny Omega, and he unloaded about the Wednesday Night Wars. To him, there is no war, depending who you talk to. I don't think it's a war, but then again, when it comes to this Wednesday Night War, the only people that's winning is the wrestling fans and me and everybody else that I know. Because AEW will have real stars, while NXT is only offering fans developmental talent. This is what Kenny Omega said to Dropkick discussions, and I quote, "You can call it a war if you want. To me, we're in a completely different kind of business. What they're doing is different from what we're doing, and it's weird because it's hard to say that you're going to war with people that I call my friends, and yet we are going to war. Yet, when I sit back and look at the grand picture, it's like I'm going to war with these dudes that if we were on the same show together, the same show with the same promotion, let's pretend there are no wars. Let's just pretend there are no promotions. Let's just pretend that there's one big promotion. If they were on the same show as me, they'd be on the dark match, they'd be in the opening match, and I'm in the main event match. You're going to call that a war? You want to call that competition? Go ahead. I mean, maybe that's fun for you to do. That's cool. But we're on different planets, and you're going to see that right away when you see 10,000 plus arenas sold out. You're going to see smiles on fans' faces, and you're going to see real stars. Not developmental talent, but real stars there on your television sets every single week." End quote. Those are some very straight to the point words from the cleaner. We'll have to wait and see how everyone pans out, but we'll all be watching the ratings very closely in the weeks to come as this new pro wrestling war continues. I'm going to say this right now, and I'm not even going to sit here and bash on Kenny Omega, because when it comes to wrestlers outside of World Wrestling Entertainment, Kenny Omega is one of my favorites outside of WWE. But what Kenny Omega said here, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm just going to go straight to the point, just like Kenny Omega did on this interview. Kenny Omega sounds like a complete asshole. Because he has friends down there in NXT. He has friends down there. I don't know why Kenny Omega would say things like that, people are saying, oh, this is just a work promo. This is just a work shoot, stuff like that. But if Kenny Omega thinks that NXT is not competition in AEW, you have another thing coming. Now, people would tell me on social media, oh, why would Triple H come out and say something about AEW? Why would he? Triple H is letting NXT do all the talk here. NXT is doing Triple H's talking for him. For example, did you see the NXT show on Wednesday night? Do you see NXT for next week? Do you see NXT for October 2nd? NXT is going to be pretty fucking loaded for the next couple of weeks. Yet Kenny Omega thinks that NXT is not competition. NXT is nothing but a developmental talent. NXT is a legit third brand, folks. And I don't want to sit here and bash on Kenny Omega because I respect Kenny Omega for what he's done and for what he's gone through over the years. But Kenny Omega, in this particular interview, he sounded like a complete fucking asshole. Yeah, he wants to be cocky. I'll give him that. Because of where he is right now, he deserves to be cocky. But at the same time, you sound like a fucking prick in this situation. I don't know why Kenny would say things like that. I'm sure that if I'm at AEW, I'm going to look at what Kenny said and say, Kenny, why would you say something like that? Obviously, you think AEW wants a war with NXT? No. Do you think Triple H wants a war with AEW? No. No. People think it's a war. I think for somehow it's a war because of what Vince is doing for Raw and SmackDown, because of what Triple H is doing for NXT. I mean, what did you expect? What do you sit here and expect for Kenny to do? Kenny thinks, Kenny is just saying his shit. I don't even think Kenny even believes the shit that he says. I really don't. Kenny might say something, but at the end of the day, you know, deep down inside him, in his heart, in his gut, in his soul, the NXT's competition. Kenny saw NXT on Wednesday. The Young Bucks saw NXT. I'm sure Cody saw it. Hell, I'm even sure that fucking Tony Khan saw NXT on Wednesday night. I'm pretty sure he did. I'm sure everybody in AEW saw NXT back on Wednesday night. And you saw how NXT did when it comes to ratings. They did a 1.179 million viewership for that first hour on the USA Network. That's a very good number. That's a very good number. If I'm Kenny Omega and if I'm AEW at this point, I'm thinking, why would Kenny even say some shit like this? You're sparking something that doesn't have to be sparked. You're starting something that doesn't have to even be started on. People want to call this a war. That's on you. If you want to call this a war, it's a war for you. I'm going to say it's some type of a war because of what NXT's doing and what Vince is doing for Raw and SmackDown. For example, I just read the report to you guys in the open of the podcast on why Rollins is going to defend the title next week on Raw. Because of the AEW effect. They don't want Raw to get lost in the shuffle. And I'm hearing a story about fucking World Entertainment bringing back Pyro. WrestleVotes even tweeted that. And I'm going to say here and say, and I tweeted at WrestleVotes earlier, and I'm going to say here, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. I just don't know why Kenny Omega is saying shit like this. I really just don't. To sit here and be honest with you, I don't know why. Why would Kenny say some shit like that? He knows people from NXT. I don't know who he knows, but I know he knows people from NXT. I know he does. I don't know. I just kind of, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't want to lose respect for Kenny Omega, but at some point, a little bit I do. Because of the shit that you just said. Yeah, it sounds cocky. Yeah, it sounds like dickish type shit, but it's Kenny Omega. And if I'm AEW, I'm here going to talk to Kenny Omega saying, yo, why would you say some shit like that? Why would you say some stuff like that? Do you even mean the shit that you said? Do you believe the words that are even coming out of your mouth about NXT? NXT is a great show, a great brand. I don't call NXT the developmental brand. I don't. I call NXT a legit third brand. A legit third brand. Yeah, back then NXT was the developmental back then. Yeah, sure. NXT was the minor leagues back then, but You see how Triple H has evolved NXT for the past 6-7 years? You mean to tell me that while watching NXT or watching a takeover, that's a developmental talent program? No, it's not. NXT, when I watch takeover, it's not a developmental brand. It's not. It's not a developmental brand. It really is not. I'm just sitting here still shocked on why Kenny said that. I'm just sitting here and shocked on why Kenny would say some shit like that. I have more news here. I'm trying to find an article here. I have no idea why. Oh boy. There's news on... I don't know why there's news on Goldberg and Dolph, but I'm not really going to get into that. That's just clearly a work. I did hear that Hacksaw Jim Duggan is hospitalized. I hope he's doing good so far. I hope he's doing good. What else do I have here for you guys that I can read? WWE, and I have one here. WWE's possible plan for Brock Lesnar on Fox. Now, WWE will be debuting the Blue brand on Fox on October 4th, and there's already a huge match slated for that show. We could very well see a new WWE champion crowned as well. Dave Meltzer stated during Wrestling Radio that due to Fox's desire to present a sports-minded program, Wrestling Entertainment might relent to their wishes and give Brock Lesnar the title right then and there. This is what Dave Meltzer said, and I quote, "When they announced Brock Lesnar for the SmackDown Fox debut, you know things just sort of add up in the sense that you know Fox wants to be a sports-like program, and Brock is like the legitimate athlete. So I can see Brock, winning the title. I'm not saying he's going to, but it feels to me going to Fox early on that Vince would rather have Brock as champion than Kofi Kingston," end quote. Considering the fact that Hell in a Cell is October 6th, you can never rule out a swerve by relocating Kofi Kingston versus Brock Lesnar's title match. It is still very interesting timing, but the Fox move needs a huge match to kick off the show. At this point, I do not mind the WWE Championship to be defended at Hell in a Cell. I don't mind it. To be honest with you, it's not needed. I'm going to sit here and say this to you right now. It's not needed. It's not fucking needed to have the most coveted title in your company be defended at Hell in a Cell. It doesn't need it. At this point, if I'm Vince, I'm thinking to myself right now, I do not want the WWE Championship to be defended at Hell in a Cell. Have that show go around Rollins and Wyatt. That's it. That's it. Nothing else should be happening in this freaking show. Nothing else should be happening. I will have that match, or should I say that show, go around Rollins and Wyatt. That's it. We all know Brock is going to win the title at Hell in a Cell. We all know that. Not Hell in a Cell. On SmackDown on Fox, we all know that for sure. But I would be some sort surprised if there's a fuck finish on that match and it's going to get defended at Hell in a Cell. I would be type surprised if we get a fuck finish on that SmackDown show and then have that match at Hell in a Cell. Because if you really think about it, Hell in a Cell tickets aren't selling terribly. I went over that on Friday's podcast. They need a notable name for that show. Maybe they do go with Brock and Kofi at Hell in a Cell for the title. Maybe we do get a fuck finish at that SmackDown show on Fox. Maybe we do. I don't know. I don't know what's in Vince's mind, but let's just see. World Wrestling Entertainment is set to change Raw and SmackDown stages after next week. This is what WrestleVotes tweeted this as of the 21st of September. WWE has been planning a new television contract for a while, and it looks like we're going to get a brand new look for Raw and SmackDown. We're already set to get new announced teams, and now WrestleVotes reports that World Wrestling Entertainment is also set to change the entire set starting next week. This means that fans should probably say goodbye to the current sets during the show. It will be interesting to see if the company pulls off another set destruction angle to make it part of a storyline. This is what WrestleVotes tweeted on September 21st at 11:05 a.m. They tweeted this, and I quote, "This coming week of TV is the final week with the current entrance stages. Both Raw and SmackDown are getting an updated, fresh feeling set," end quote. We'll have to see what happens with these new stages. We heard a rumor that the company could have been considering another SmackDown fist. I love the fist. You remember that fist back then? Another SmackDown fist to their set, but that plan could have always been nixed. Now, I'm tired of the new stages. I really am. I'm low-key tired of the new fucking stages. I really am. I really fucking am. I mean, when it comes to a takeover, they have the same set as SmackDown. When they have a fucking pay-per-view, like a main roster pay-per-view, is the same set as SmackDown. Raw has the same set as SmackDown after a big pay-per-view. After a major pay-per-view like the Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, stuff like that. And also, I want to see pay-per-view stages be unique again. I really do. Now, they tweeted this morning. Oh, that Pyro is going to come back at some point. I believe it when I see it. I believe it when I see it. At the same time, I want pay-per-views, the stages for pay-per-views, to be unique again. I really do. I really fucking do. I'm not going to lie to you. I miss having those unique style pay-per-view sets that we get for pay-per-views back then. Why don't they just bring that back also? I would love that if they bring that back. If they bring that back, I would love that. I really would. It brings a different feel to the show. It really does. Because, for example, watching SummerSlam, watching fucking Clash of Champions, it just felt ordinary. Why? Because of the stage. Some point of the show, I feel like, oh, these shows are fucking ordinary. Because of the fucking stage. I want the stage to feel different. I want the stage to be different. It brings a different vibe to the show. It really does. You have no idea how much the stage can impact on a whole show. You don't know. You really don't know. More news here. WWE's reported long-term plans for Bray Wyatt's Fiend character. Now, you guys know how I feel about the Fiend. I love the Fiend. I love the Fiend. Bray Wyatt is set for a huge Universal title match against Seth Rollins at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, but that is WWE's plan for them after that. But what is their plan after that? Fans have attached themselves to the Fiend already, but the company doesn't plan on turning the Fiend into a friendly character anytime soon. Good! Keep it the way it is. I fucking love it. That won't stop fans from cheering him as he continues his reign of destruction. Wrestling News reports that the company is well aware of Bray Wyatt's current reactions. The Fiend is money, but he's not turned babyface anytime soon. This is what WrestleVotes reporting, and I quote, "People in the company are aware of the babyface reactions he is getting right now, but I'm told there are no plans for him to turn right now," end quote. The plan is to reportedly let Bray Wyatt become one of the biggest heels in the company. This could very well lead him to becoming one of the most over babyfaces in time. Of course, this could take time, and it is said that it could take years. We'll have to see what the company does with Bray Wyatt. In the meantime, they are certainly off to a good start with him so far. I love the Fiend character. I don't know about you guys, but I love the Fiend character. People are just creeped out of the Fiend character. People are just creeped the fuck out over it. And I have a report right here. I'm going to bleed in that report with this one. With Kane. Kane is saying that he's creeped out of the Fiend character. Why not? Why not? Bray Wyatt is taking one legend after another off his list of friends, as you saw on the Firefly Funhouse this past week. Kane was very happy to be a part of it too. Watch the Fiend take out Kane as almost a passing of the torch moment. I really did feel that it was a passing of the torch moment. Plenty of children were frightened by Kane's presence back in the day, and now Bray Wyatt is giving fans something to really be afraid of. While speaking to the two-man power trip, Kane said it was an honor to be a part of Bray Wyatt's feud with Seth Rollins. The Devil's favorite demon also admitted that the Fiend even creeped him out. This was Kane said, and I quote, to also be involved with the Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt Fiend storyline. What an honor to be able to do that. It was a great night. Even I get creeped out by Bray Wyatt as the Fiend. I think that it's a tremendous character, and I'm also really happy when any of the guys are able to be successful. I think Bray is very creative in everything he has done as Bray Wyatt and now the Fiend character. It has all been great, and he is such a wonderful performer, end quote. It was convenient that WWE just happened to be in Knoxville, Tennessee, so Kane could take part of this segment. It was a big night for him because he got to hold the 24/7 title for a short time as well, but he certainly won't forget his time with Bray Wyatt. If you got people like Kane, one of the greatest monsters of all time. Now, speaking of Kane, if you guys did not watch WWE Untold, that's gotta be Kane. On the WWE Network, go watch it. It's a very good watch. That is literally, especially watching that last night before I went to bed, one of the best things I love about the network is the way they produce content. Like backstage stuff, WWE Untold, 24, 365, Table for 3. I love the network. $9.99 is a perfect price to get content like that. If you haven't watched Untold, that's gotta be Kane on the network, go watch it. Go watch it. It was that ass one of the greatest things I have ever watched on the network. Seriously. If you guys haven't watched it, go watch it. Now, I'm not plugging the network, but I'm just giving you guys something. I'm putting you guys on something to watch. Go watch that Untold documentary from yesterday that I watched. It was a really good thing. It was a really good shit. Really good shit to watch. It was just fantastic. I loved it. But speaking of Kane, in my opinion, he's one of the greatest monsters of all time. One of the greatest monsters ever. And when it comes to wrestling, period. Kane. Love Kane. Kane is giving Bray Wyatt a whole bunch of praise. Now, you don't really hear that a lot. People are saying that Bray Wyatt's too creepy, his character's too creepy, his character's too scary. So fucking what? So fucking what? Bray Wyatt's character is fantastic. And you got somebody like Kane praising Bray Wyatt's character? I can imagine Kane right now saying, yo, I can imagine having Kane talking to Taker about this. Oh, Taker, you know, you got to work with this guy. He's much more different than he was a long time ago. Much different. His character is different. He has a different vibe with the character. He's just a fantastic worker. Work with him. I can imagine Taker and Wyatt having a feud. Now, watching that Kane Bray Wyatt thing that happened on Raw Monday Night, it was great. It was great to watch. I'm not gonna lie to you. And then Wyatt was scaring Rollins to end the fucking show, which was fantastic. A fantastic ending to end Raw last week. With Wyatt attacking Kane last week on Raw, do we get Wyatt and Taker for Survivor Series? Because if you guys didn't know, Kane is the Undertaker's brother. Wyatt, in the Garden, I believe 2 weeks ago in the Garden, he mentioned 11:19 on the clock. Remember when the clock went from 3:16 to 11:19? People were thinking that Wyatt was going to attack The Undertaker on SmackDown the Garden. That didn't happen. I'm hearing rumblings that Wyatt is going to be on that SmackDown show and attack The Undertaker. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing rumblings about that also. I'm hearing some sort of rumor or rumbling about that, about Wyatt showing up to Fox in October 4th on that show and attack The Undertaker. Because Taker, from what I'm hearing also, he's advertised for that show as well. Taker's advertised for that show. Obviously, Brock is advertised for that show. I'm hearing Sting. Sting is even advertised for that show for October 4th. That's what I'm hearing. Maybe we do get Wyatt and Taker for Survivor Series. Maybe we do. Or maybe we get Wyatt and Taker at Crown Jewel in December on Halloween. If it's the perfect bill, Wyatt versus Taker for Crown Jewel, or they go Wyatt versus Kane. They go Wyatt versus Kane for Crown Jewel. And then maybe Wyatt and Taker for Chicago at Survivor Series. Maybe they go down that route. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they do go down that route. I hope so at this point. I hope they do. I hope they go down at that point. I really hope so. I really sit there and just hope so. That ends up happening. What else do I have here? I have more news here. I'm just looking for an article here to look for. I might as well tackle this story also. How long am I in this? So far, 40 minutes. WWE is planning to protect Bray Wyatt's character. I mean, as you should. As you should. Bray Wyatt's Fiend could be the kind of character that sticks around the universe until the end of time. It is inventive and horrifying, but it also saved Bray Wyatt's career. That I agree. Wyatt wrestled Seth Rollins in a recent house show, and it ended via a disqualification. This was a great way to keep either man from eating a loss, especially the Fiend. We'll just have to wait and see if they come up with some kind of non-finish at Hell in a Cell, in a Hell in a Cell match, where there are no disqualifications. Wrestling News reports that the plan is to continue having Bray Wyatt avoid clean losses. Wyatt's DQ loss to the Architect Seth Rollins was brought up as an example in this instance. This is what Wrestling News reported, and I quote, "The idea is to continue to protect him and not have him lose clean. That plan extends to the live event on Friday night. Wyatt wrestled Rollins and lost the match via a disqualification." End quote. World Entertainment could be planning some big things for Bray Wyatt in the very near future. It wouldn't be a huge surprise to see them pull off some kind of finish at Hell in a Cell that could avoid either man taking a definitive loss, but there are a lot of options on the table as of right now. The fact that you're having Wyatt even competing at a live event really does tick me off just a little bit. Now, TM was explaining to me the other day, "Oh, did you hear about Wyatt competing at a live event?" No, I did not. When TM told me that on Twitter, on the DM, he told me that that was news to me. I'm like, why would I have Wyatt compete at a house show? Now, I get that you don't want Wyatt to lose clean, be a pinfall or submission, but a disqualification at the same time, if you really think about it, it's a loss. Now, I told TM, live event stuff doesn't bleed into television. It really doesn't. It really doesn't bleed into television. It really freaking doesn't. So, if I'm anybody right now that's even watching the podcast and shit, don't even worry about Wyatt. Just don't. Don't worry about Wyatt. Wyatt will be fine. Do not worry about Wyatt at all. Losing at a live at a fucking, I can't even talk, at a fucking live event via a disqualification. I wouldn't really be too worried about that. I do have news on Finn Balor. For all you Finn Balor fans, I do have news on Finn Balor. Finn Balor's return, time frame, and future storylines have been revealed. Now, WWE will be touring Australia on October 21st through the 23rd. PW Insider reports that the company has revealed the card for the upcoming events, and there could be some clues that indicate future storylines. Really now? I would take this with a grain of salt. If anything, I would take this as of right now with a grain of salt. There's a lot to unpack, but Eric Rowan versus Roman Reigns is a pretty good sign that Rowan will continue feuding on a top level with the big dog at least through October. The fact that Finn Balor is advertised is also notable since he is currently on a little break from the company following SummerSlam when he lost to the Fiend. He used that time off to get married. Balor is advertised to battle Shinsuke Nakamura for the Intercontinental Championship. And the complete card, I'm going to read to you guys the complete card here. If anything, I would take this with a grain of salt. Card is subject to change. Let's see. The card reads as I read it. Roman Reigns versus Eric Rowan. Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. Bayley versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's title. Big E and Xavier Woods versus the Revival for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Nakamura versus Balor for the IC title. The Kabuki Warriors versus the Iconic versus Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Aleister Black versus Sami Zayn, KO versus DB, Daniel Bryan, and Buddy Murphy versus Andrade with Zelina Vega. It's interesting how both Buddy Murphy and the Iconics are also featured on the show because they're Australian. Since they're Australians, the company is likely to put on a spotlight on them on their home country. The cards are always subject to change, but this could give fans an idea about what's to come in WWE. This is how I would book Finn Balor. This is how I would book Balor. This is how I would book Balor. Balor is a SmackDown superstar. Correct? He's a SmackDown superstar. I think it's a SmackDown superstar. I'm not really too sure. We haven't seen Balor since SummerSlam, so I'm really forgotten about Finn Balor. Balor is a SmackDown superstar, if I'm not mistaken. I would have Balor come back on Raw, depending if you have DOC and AJ Styles there, still on Monday Night Raw. I would have Balor be drafted back to Raw and have him turn heel. Have him join VOC. That's what I would do. Balor needs a new identity. Put him with the OC. Have him turn heel. It's just that simple. That's what I would do at this point. Listen, I don't mind babyface Balor. I don't mind it. But I want to see him as a heel. One of the most interesting things I want to see is Balor as a heel. That's the one thing I want to see. How would you guys feel about a Balor heel turn? Sound off in the comment section down below. WWE, this company just keeps on. WWE making another attempt to re-sign the Revival. Now, if I'm the Revival, I wouldn't even sign an extension with this company. I really wouldn't. The Revival are top guys in WWE, but they have yet to re-sign with WWE. Their contract offer is set to be massive, but Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson have yet to re-sign anything with the company. This is what makes the fact that Cody Rhodes sent a message to them during Double or Nothing so interesting. Fightful Select reports that the company has made renewal efforts toward the Revival, but they have yet to sign anything. This is what Fightful Select and I think Sean Ross Sapp said, and I quote, as a Classic Champion SmackDown title win, the two had not signed new deals, but anything that's happened since then is unknown, end quote. We'll have to wait and see if the company will eventually get Dash and Dawson to sign anything with them. As we previously reported, the company tackled on more time on Dash Wilder's contract due to time he missed a couple of years ago. If I'm the Revival at this point, I would not even resign with WWE. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't sign with them whatsoever because of the simple fact that they are fucking trash right now in the main roster. Although the fact that they're fucking SmackDown Tag Team Champions, they're fucking terrible. I mean, booking-wise, they're terrible. I mean, they're great in the ring. They're fantastic. I just can't take them serious. If they were to go to AEW, then, and only then, I would take them serious. Can you imagine them in AEW? Come on now. Seriously? Come on. Seriously? For real. I don't see Dash and Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. I don't see them re-signing with the company. I really don't. I really fucking don't. Especially if you have them fucking being a storyline with the Usos, having a fucking itch with fucking itching cream. That was it for me. More news here. I mean, I have a ton of news here. This might go over an hour. I don't know. I'll probably have a few more stories before I get out of here. I'll probably have like one more story before I get out of here. Probably one more story. WWE likely booking Angle heavy show for SmackDown this week. Really now. This was news breaking right now for me anyways. WWE has a lot of things that they need to get in order before Hell in a Cell. But before that, they have to worry about SmackDown's move to Fox. And I just got the tweet from Brad Shepard. Rumor killer, Alicia Fox is not on the creative team for SmackDown Live. That was just a report right now. A tweet right now from Brad Shepard. So there you go. There are a lot of things going on at once right now in the universe of WWE. Dave Meltzer brought up SmackDown this week and stated that it should be all about building for WWE's next step that could produce a lame duck show, quote unquote. But it could also be very angle heavy in order to help bring fans to Fox. This is what Dave Meltzer said, and I quote, "That's going to be a lame duck show because everything's going to be built for the week after. I mean, what's the point? There's really no other point other than to set up angles for the October 4th show. So the SmackDown show this Tuesday should in theory be a very angle heavy show," end quote. WWE has a lot of options, but they haven't booked much for Hell in a Cell either. It might be the decision to book a couple of matches for the October 6th pay-per-view, or they have to pour on fans for a move to Fox at the same time. Needless to say, SmackDown Live's final week on the USA Network could be very, very interesting, which will be next week. Should be next week. I don't know what to expect on SmackDown this week. I really don't know. But according to the report, it says it's going to be a very angle-heavy show. I think they're going to build more towards the October 4th show more than the October 6th show. So let's see about that. We'll see about SmackDown tomorrow and then within next week. I have probably maybe 3 more stories to get. Yeah, probably 3 more stories before I get out of here. Probably 3 more stories. Possible spoiler. Possible, very much possible spoiler for the Seth Rollins Bray Wyatt match at Hell in a Cell. Seth Rollins is a fighting champion, which is going to be evident in the next couple of weeks. He is set to defend the Universal title on September 30th and again at Hell in a Cell versus Bray Wyatt's Fiend. During Wrestling Observer Radio, they've met to discuss the company's possible strategy for Bray Wyatt versus Seth Rollins. The two have already battled at house shows. The matches that the two have been a part of so far has ended in a disqualification after about the same kind of match. This is possibly preparing them for a much longer contest on October 6th. This is what Dave Meltzer said, and I quote, "They did Bray Wyatt in Edmonton and Calgary, as well as they were very short main events where Wyatt pretty much devastates him, and there's a comeback, and it ends up with a DQ, and then Seth manages to run off and everything. So they didn't go long. It makes me wonder if they'll go long at Hell in a Cell. I think maybe the feeling is they have to," end quote. He went on to state that house show matches of that magnitude need to be shorter because they don't want to spoil anything. It is also noted that Bray Wyatt has to win, quote unquote, Bray Wyatt has to win the title against the Architect. We'll have to see what the company has planned for Rollins versus Wyatt at Hell in a Cell, but it's not going to end in a DQ because Hell in a Cell matches don't have that luxury. Hell in a Cell matches do not end on disqualification. I've said this many times. TM has said this many, many times on his Raw review. Wyatt has to win the Universal Championship at Hell in a Cell. There's no question he has to. There's no question. Wyatt is the hottest thing right now in this company. He's the hottest thing going on in this company. You have to give him the Universal Championship. If you do not, and I repeat this with my God staring down at me, if Wyatt does not walk out of Hell in a Cell with the Universal Championship, I am done with this company. Done. You've heard it here first on this podcast. If Bray Wyatt does not walk out of Hell in a Cell with the Universal Championship, I am done with the main roster. Done. That's my alarm going off. I apologize. I will be done with this main roster bullshit if Wyatt does not walk out of Hell in a Cell with the Universal Championship. He has to win. No fucking question. He has to win. You hear me, Vince? He has to win on Sunday. He has to. Bray Wyatt is the hottest thing going on in this company. He's the hottest thing right now. Not only in this company, he's one of the hottest characters in pro wrestling. In pro wrestling. Wyatt has to win at Hell in a Cell. If you do not have Bray Wyatt win the title at Hell in a Cell, you are going to have a lot of pissed off people at Hell in a Cell. You're going to piss off a lot of people in this community if you do not have Bray Wyatt walk out of Hell in a Cell with the Universal title. I don't care if it goes 5 minutes. I don't care if this match goes 45 minutes. I don't care if Wyatt and Rollins have the longest Hell in a Cell match in WWE history, surpassing Triple H and Shawn Michaels at Bad Blood 04. I've watched every single Hell in a Cell match in WWE history. I've watched every single Hell in a Cell match in this company's history. I repeat, you have to have Bray Wyatt walk out of Hell in a Cell as the Universal Champion. If you do not do that, this company is fucking doomed. This company will be an afterthought if you do not have Bray Wyatt walk out as Universal Champion. No fucking question, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Wyatt will be the next Universal Champion coming out of Hell in a Cell. No motherfucking question about it. No question. NXT could plan a title change to distract fans from AEW TNT debut. Oh, really? Let's read this. The WWE is well aware that they need to put forth the biggest NXT show possible on October 2nd. Hey, Tommaso Ciampa, bring him back. All Elite Wrestling Dynamite will debut on TNT that night, and a lot of fans will be trying to watch both shows live, including me. Matt Riddle will battle Killian Dane this week on NXT in a #1 contenders match. The winner of that will face Adam Cole for October 2nd for the NXT Championship. Shayna Baszler versus Candice LeRae for the NXT Women's title is also stated for that big show. During Wrestling on Radio, they've met to discuss NXT's future booking. They have a stacked show lineup for October 2nd, which will be a very big day in pro wrestling history already. This is how I'm booking NXT for October 2nd. You have Adam Cole versus Matt Riddle for the NXT Championship. Cole retains. At the end of the show, when you have that credit on the bottom right-hand corner, you have Tommaso Ciampa come back and look at Goldie. There goes your NXT TakeOver War Games match. There goes your NXT Championship match for War Games for TakeOver between Cole and Ciampa for War Games. Or not, you do this WrestleMania weekend. No question. This is what they must have said on the Wrestling on Radio, and I quote, this is the last report here. Shayna Baszler versus Candice LeRae and Adam Cole, right against presumably Matt Riddle, right? I would have presumed that Matt Riddle also, no. So that's like a big match. They are saving, and I guess they're saving it for the TV show. Again, on that night, if I'm in their position, of course, I'm throwing out a big match like that. I mean, and probably a title change. Wouldn't you think that would do one? End quote. It was noted that Shayna Baszler has been NXT Women's Champion for a long time, so it's believable that she could lose her title. You also have the possibility of Matt Riddle pulling off a huge win as well. The Undisputed Era will start off the October 2nd NXT show covered in gold, but that might not last for long. Let's just see what the company has planned for NXT, because they need to draw as much attention away from TNT's AEW Dynamite program as possible. I'm going to end the podcast here with this report. I'm going to end it here. NXT on October 2nd is going to be a pivotal show. It's going to be a loaded, stacked up show. It's going to be a pretty big show that night. And of course, I'm going to cover both shows. I don't know what title change I would do. You got Shayna versus Candice for the NXT Women's title on October 2nd. You got Matt Riddle and Killian Dane competing in a street fight this week, again, with the winner competing against Adam Cole on October 2nd for the NXT title. I'm booking Matt Riddle to win this match. The question lies, does he win the NXT Championship at NXT next week on October 2nd? Does Matt Riddle win the NXT Championship on October 2nd? My answer to that, no. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't book Matt Riddle to win. I wouldn't have Matt Riddle come close, but I wouldn't have Matt Riddle win. Now, unless if they're really going to book Matt Riddle to win the NXT Championship, you got to think about TakeOver. You have to think about TakeOver. You really do. You have to think about TakeOver. You really do. Now, let's say Matt Riddle wins next week and he goes up against Adam Cole and Adam Cole retains. Who does Adam Cole face at TakeOver War Games in Chicago for the NXT Championship? Who does he defend the title against at TakeOver War Games? Will Undisputed Era again compete at War Games? I don't know. If I'm Triple H here, I'm booking towards TakeOver War Games. You gotta have TakeOver War Games. That's one of your biggest takeovers of the entire year. Of the entire year. You know how War Games is? It's one of the most dangerous matches in NXT history. If not the most dangerous match in NXT history. If not. You gotta think about War Games here. You gotta think about the next takeover. What if Candice beats Shayna? Who does Candice defend the title against at War Games? You see, this is a common thing that I gotta think about. You gotta book long term. I love booking long term. What if, folks? What if Candice beats Shayna at War Games? No, in 2 weeks. Think about War Games here. I apologize. What if Candice does beat Shayna at NXT on October 2nd for the NXT Women's title? Who does she defend the title against? Well, Io? Io has that. Io could possibly have that right because Io did beat Candice at TakeOver Toronto. What if they book that matchup? What if they book Io versus Candice at TakeOver War Games for the NXT Women's Championship? What if? I don't know. Again, with this NXT Championship picture, what if they have Matt Riddle win this week and have Matt Riddle win next week for the NXT title? Who does Matt Riddle defend the title against at War Games? Who? Does Matt Riddle turn heel before War Games? Does he turn heel? I could see Matt Riddle as a heel. I could. Hell yeah, I could. I could see Matt Riddle as a heel. Ciampa is gonna be the wild card here. If you really sit there and think about it, Ciampa is gonna be the wild card. Most likely, whoever wins between Cole and Riddle is gonna most likely face Ciampa either at War Games or Tampa. Because from what I'm hearing, they're not doing a takeover show for January, the weekend of the Rumble. They're not having a takeover there. I don't know why. From what I'm hearing, they're having a Worlds Collide tournament instead of a takeover. I don't know. I don't know what you do from that point on. I have no idea what you do. But if I'm Triple H here, when it comes to October 2nd, you gotta book long term. You have to book long term. War Games, TakeOver, Chicago. You gotta think about that. You really do. Pretty much of a possibility. I would have Matt Riddle win, but maybe, just maybe, I would give him the NXT Championship. But other than that, if Cole wins, the only person I'm having Cole drop the title to, it's Ciampa. Because why? Ciampa never lost the title to begin with. Ciampa was never pinned. Ciampa was never made to submit. Ciampa never lost the title. So it's only right if Ciampa comes back, he states claim, hey, you have my title. I never lost it. I want my shot. I want Goldie back. Can you imagine Cole versus Ciampa for War Games at TakeOver in Chicago? Can you imagine that? Oof. That's something I can clearly be behind. And on top of that, another wild card factor, Gargano. The only reason why Gargano is NXT for life is because he wants to finish that storyline with Ciampa. You have to finish that story between Ciampa and Gargano. You just have to. You just have to. You have to finish that storyline between Gargano and Ciampa. You just have to. You just have to. So I don't know how they're going to do this, but let's just see what happens this week on NXT and also on October 2nd. Because that's going to be a big, big night for all wrestling fans. That's going to be a big night. A huge night for wrestling fans. A big night. Let's just see what happens. I'm in the ride. I got my popcorn. I got my soda ready. I'm all ready, folks. I'm all ready. And that, folks, is the reality of things right here on episode 60 of the Reality Podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know it was a long podcast, over an hour. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoy the podcast, hit that thumbs up, leave a comment down below. What you guys think of the podcast so far? Also, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to show your support by hitting that subscribe button down below. Turn on those balls, guys, for notifications. Episode 59 of the podcast, live on the channel right now. NXT review for this past Wednesday, live on the channel right now. SmackDown review, live on the channel right now. Monday Night Raw review, also live on the channel as well as Clash of Champions review. All these videos will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper right-hand corner of your screen. This is the official home of the Reality Podcast, so make sure you're following me on social media. Twitter, Chris from Loring. Snapchat, Chris was hated. And like I said, folks, if you guys are enjoying the content, be sure to show your support by hitting the subscribe button down below and turn on those balls, guys, for notifications. I will see you guys later on tonight for Monday Night Raw review. Raw should be, I have no idea. I have no idea what to expect the Raw tonight, but it should be AEW effect worthy of this show tonight. I'm Chris. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, share the video all over social media. I will see you guys later on tonight for Raw review. Till then, I am Chris. Talk to you guys later.